Records vote at advanced polling over Easter weekend. Carney's budget costed to put Canada more in debt than the Trudeau Liberals. And this race could come down to less than 50,000 votes. So let's jump in to what voters need to know right now. Weekend polling data showed the gap in the election has been closing, with the Conservatives edging in on that Liberal lead. And it's expected to come down to just 30 to 40 swing ridings that could possibly be determined by a total of less than 50,000 votes. What this means practically is that the outcome of this election will most likely not only be decided by voters, but by those who have the strongest volunteer game. The team that can mobilize its base most effectively to reach their voters and then get them out to vote will be the one that tips the balance. So if you care about the outcome, now is the time to vote and to volunteer. Elections Canada announced that nearly 2 million people cast their ballots on Good Friday alone, the first day of advanced polling. That is a massive turnout, with long lines reported across the nation. Advanced polling actually wraps up tonight at 9 p.m. nationwide. If you want to avoid long lineups on Election Day, now is the time to go. Over the last few days, headlines have been focused on the costed budgets of the various parties, with the most bombshell reveal being that the Liberal budget, with $130 billion in new initiatives over 4 years, would increase the debt by $225 billion. This is up from Trudeau's $40 billion average. Carney defended the scale of spending, saying that we are in the middle of the biggest crisis of our lifetime. Some suggest that this is alarmism designed to scare Canadians into accepting more federal debt. Canada's current federal debt is $1.3 trillion, with each Canadian's federal debt portion being around $30,000. Just half a decade ago, each person's debt portion was around half of that. Justin Trudeau's Liberals doubled Canada's federal debt, racking up more than all previous prime ministers combined. And critics say that with this new plan, our debt bell curve would be even worse. As of 2024, 100% of all federal sales tax collected, over $50 billion, went to paying the interest on the federal debt, $1 billion a week. This is a first in Canadian history. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives responded forcefully to the Liberal costing. They called it a radical spending spree that could fuel inflation, raise interest rates, and further deepen the cost of living crisis. Poilievre's contrasting vision includes balancing the budget within 4 years, cutting governmental waste, scrapping the carbon tax, encouraging private sector growth, especially in housing and in energy, and lowering taxes for workers and seniors. And Friday afternoon, the Bloc Québécois became the first party to release a fully costed platform. Their deficits would be similar to the Liberals. However, because they only run candidates in Quebec, they will not form federal government. Polls are, however, projecting that they may get a few dozen seats. On Saturday, the NDP leader, Jagmeet Singh, unveiled his platform in Burnaby, BC, promoting what he called core Canadian values and pledging $48 billion in new spending over 4 years. Singh has also sharply criticized the Liberal plan, warning that it could lead to $43 billion in cuts to public services. The Green Party has not directly responded to the Liberal debt figures, but continues to stress fiscal responsibility through progressive taxation. These choices reflect fundamentally different visions for Canada's future, but it's up to you to decide. This is a ballot issue. Are we in the biggest crisis of our time, requiring more record spending and debt that will inevitably be passed on to the next generation? Or is this a time to think differently about deficit spending, focusing rather on balancing the books and cutting government waste? This is your decision. Again, advanced polling closes tonight at 9 p.m. local time. Your voice matters more than ever, and so does your action, whether by casting that ballot vote or by joining a campaign. Now is the time to engage. For Merit TV, this is what voters need to know. I'm Faitine in New Brunswick.